So most podcasts start with a simple question. Who would be an interesting person to talk to? So you invite them on, prepare questions about their story, and let the conversation flow. The result is always decent, but decent is exactly the problem because listeners don't press play for a conversation. They actually press play because something in their life feels stuck, something they're unsure about, something they're trying to figure out. And if an episode doesn't move that forward and quickly, the guest doesn't matter. Most hosts think their problem is audience size, but it isn't. It's episode memory. If a listener can't explain what the last episode helped them understand, they won't come back for another one. Podcasts actually don't grow from downloads. They grow from clarity. So instead of making a list of guests, make a list of struggles your listener can actually identify with. So not topics, but moments. So not a business conversation, but I want to leave my job, but I can't justify it. And not a health conversation, but I've tried everything, but nothing changes. Now the show has direction because the episode isn't about the guest anymore. It's about resolving something real. The best guest isn't the smartest person on the topic. It's the person standing at the right distance from the listener. So think of it like steps or stairs. Your listener is on one step. The guest is somewhere ahead. Too far ahead and it turns into theory, and too close and it turns into sympathy. The useful conversations happen when the guest remembers exactly what the step felt like. So let's take an example. If somebody had chronic fatigue and eventually got out of it, they don't just understand the solution. They remember the frustration of being told everything looks normal when it clearly isn't. So the episode stops being, let's talk about health, and becomes why people stop trusting advice after they tried everything. The listener feels understood immediately before they feel taught. The same with business. You don't just talk about business owners to business owners and, see what comes up. You want to talk to somebody who remembers sitting in a steady job, wanting to leave, wanting to start a small business, but being too scared to lose their stability. So that's when the episode stops being how to launch a business and becomes what actually keeps people stuck even when they want out. And now choosing the guest becomes a lot easier. You're not asking for somebody who's impressive. You're asking who understands the exact moment. Sometimes that's an expert. Sometimes it's somebody one step ahead. Sometimes your own experience. So the guest list gets smaller, but the episodes get much clearer. You stop filling time and you start guiding progress. So here's the quick tests. Think about your last episode. Can you finish this sentence instantly? A listener would send this episode to a friend who is struggling with. If you can't answer that immediately, the episode was built around a person, not a problem. Bad podcasts find people to talk to. Clear podcasts find people to help. And that's the whole difference. If your show feels stuck in the middle ground, good conversations, but nothing really changing for the listener, it's usually a positioning problem, not an effort problem. So I run podcast audits through podlad.com, my website, where I listen to a couple of your episodes and then tell you exactly where the direction gets lost and what to change. No templates, no generic advice. This is specific feedback on your show. There's a link below if you want to get in contact with me.